2003 and now 2025. The last time Tennessee football left the swamp victorious, we were not alive. But now we are here, we witnessed it from the press box here. Steve Spurrier Florida field, where Tennessee came out with a 31-11 victory over the Gators. Alex Sarkis joined alongside Trevor McGee. This is the first time someone's been able to stand here, even with really technology, and say Tennessee came out and beat Florida.
And I think, I personally couldn't be more surprised over what we saw out here tonight. You see Tennessee go out and score immediately on their first drive, like they have a lot this season. And then you expected the blow-up play, the strip sack that Florida almost had, but no, this time Joey Aguilar jumps on top of it, and Tennessee just controls the pace the whole entire game. There wasn't that blow-up play, there wasn't an interception, a crucial turnover. It never happened. And it was all Tennessee all night long in a spot that nobody saw coming. And you could point out so many different areas of this game where Tennessee dominated, and it was really all of them. But the big part was Tennessee came in, controlled the pace, played to their terms. And that's the story of tonight. It was played on the field, obviously, but man, just such a stunner here in the Swamp.
Yeah, we came into this one saying we have to see it to believe it happening. And Tennessee came out and played the most complete game of football they probably could have played. And you can point to so many different factors in this one. You say they come out and they score on the first drive. Well, then they score on their second drive. Well, let's look at the third. Touchdown. Fourth drive, they get another one. They score on their first 4 drives tonight. They go into the locker rooms up 31-0. And you look all around, and it was in so many various ways. You had Deshaun Bishop go for a career-high 24 carries tonight. He was a workhorse back. Even got hurt twice and still came back both times. Carried the ball a little bit more. Tennessee ran for 250 yards tonight. They outgained Florida by almost 200. There were so many different facets to this game. You look at the penalties, and that's a big one that I'm going to write about after this. Tennessee is not a disciplined football team, especially in SEC play, especially on the road. Tennessee comes out of this one, 4 penalties, 25 yards, all on the offensive side of the ball. They don't leave with the defensive penalty in this game. Sure, Florida didn't test them defensively. DJ Lagway didn't really do much, but Tennessee played a clean game of football, and that goes along the theme of playing a complete game. After some relocation, just like the street back to Knoxville, more to talk about as Tennessee, once again, they put together a complete game tonight and talked a little bit about everything that came together. I guess I didn't even mention the special teams that came together. Jackson Ross, 2 punts inside the 6-yard line, really both inside the 5, but a 1-yard return knocked it to the 6, we'll say. All 3 phases come together, and I guess the real spotlight tonight is the defense.
Yeah, and I think, we've been talking about this defense all year. It feels like after every game we've had a knock on them, and they played a better game last week against New Mexico State, but man, did they really put it on here against an SEC opponent. And that's a Florida team that has hung with some of the best teams in the country this year. So it's no slouch of a performance. I think the Tennessee defense absolutely needed this. They needed to come on the road, play a game like they did tonight, and make DJ Lagway, look his age, look like a guy who, has struggled for a majority of this year. And they really did that. You see a guy like Arion Carter blow up DJ Lagway early in that game. It sends the message that I think that Tennessee needed to send in this one. And really, all facets, the DBs. We've talked about the injury troubles in the secondary this year. Colton Hood, Ty Redmond, each of them, continue to grow as this year goes on. And man, you really couldn't ask for a better outing from this defense. And, they almost held Florida to a scoreless streak that has been going for years now. So just an unbelievable effort from Tim Banks' guys tonight. And it was really something that, Tennessee's going to have to look back at this game and say that's the way we want to play on defense every single week.
Yeah, Florida scored 1 touchdown in this game on their final drive, where it was a 33-yard busted coverage to Jaden Ball, the running back, out of the backfield. He scores that touchdown, but if you knock that off, DJ Lagway had 89 yards in the 4th quarter up until that final drive, or really up until that 33-yard touchdown pass. 89 yards of offense is sure, he's not lived up to the 5-star hype at the moment, but he was a 5-star quarterback that Tennessee kind of made look silly out there because they held him in check. And I think a big stat that you can look at that is aided by the offensive ability to stay on the field and really punch the ball down Florida's throat, Tennessee won the time of possession battle tonight. And that doesn't happen often in the Josh Heupel era because they're so fast on the offensive side. But you can put this both ways tonight. Tennessee ran smash mouth football. They held onto the ball for a long time, but the defense was able to get off the field. They forced multiple 3-and-outs, and this is a game you absolutely build on because of everything we've already mentioned.
And we talked about kind of the mood surrounding this team coming into this one. This is kind of a fork in the road game. You've got Vanderbilt coming up next week. If you drop this game, make it 11 straight down here, it's not the best look. And with the way that things have been trending with this team, you didn't really know what you were going to get had you lost this game. Another guy I want to touch on is Ethan Davis. Miles Kitselman, the starting tight end, coming into this game is going to be out, and Ethan Davis steps right into that. He is one of Joey Aguilar's top targets tonight. I think he had 6 targets. He led Tennessee in receiving yards, so he stepped right in, and we've seen flashes of him a few times this year, but man, he was really the main course for Tennessee receiving tonight and jumped in on that first touchdown right here along this sideline. So, man, you love to see production like that from that tight ends room, and Ethan Davis obviously, leads the way in that category tonight.
Yeah, and Davis had probably the biggest catch of the night because Tennessee, they didn't push the ball down the field very much, but they had their longest passing play tonight was 23 yards, which adds even more to this win. But Ethan Davis had a 15-yard reception down the sideline to keep Joey Aguilar's streak of 35 consecutive games with 200 passing yards, which is now cut close in the last 2 games. But that, once again, is another positive to build upon because, as you mentioned, it was a fork-in-the-road game. Tennessee, they made it 11 straight. They wouldn't have had another chance here until 2029, so they finally get a lot of relief off their chest. No longer a fork in the road, and now you can look forward to next week, where Tennessee will host a playoff contending Vanderbilt squad who is in a win-and-in scenario.